Hey there. Let's talk about baseball. It's early Tuesday morning, like 1 a.m. I've been working for the last few hours, and I kind of want to share this before I start getting into baseball. But I was working on some other work, some accounting work, and there were some things I was working on where it was a repetitive task, and I always wanted to automate the task and write a macro or write some code to do it. And I always would hesitate to do it, to get into it, to try to learn, because I would screw it up, and I would just I was like, I'll just keep doing this thing manually. And then tonight, because of all the exposure I've had recently to artificial intelligence, to chat GPT, to mid journey for making images, I just said, you know what, why don't I take a minute and go into chat GPT and ask it to help me write a macro for something. And sure enough, it did. And I got the work done after about an hour of learning as well. But it made me realize that in today's, the world's changing extremely fast right now. And artificial intelligence is a tool that we can all use to do our jobs better. And you're going to have to adapt. Every time you look at something you're doing and you're like, this is repetitive, this is annoying, you should start opening up ChatGPT and try to ask it questions to get it to do what you want it to do. That's really where a lot of our jobs are going. Is where we need to become what's called prompt engineers, which is we need to know enough about the topic we're working on to format a specific question that appropriately puts the AI in the right direction. And I'm going to be doing that more with the sports algorithms, because once you start getting accustomed to doing it, you'll never go back, because you understand how powerful it is. So what we do here in the MLB algorithm is also somewhat of some artificial intelligence, but it's very basic, and it's just related to stats, and it's just a lot of calculations. It's not really conversational in nature, but there's still a lot we can do with it. So I will get into that as I continue to evolve with these things, because it's showing me how we could do stuff more automated. Speaking of more automated, I made it so that we can just run the macro. You don't have to clear out the macro every time. It just run it and it clears it automatically. So I'll show you that if we need to rerun it during this video. But let's talk about today. So the file is now starting to roll into 2023 and have 2023 be more meaningful than 2022. That's what I was hoping for. This is the first day that 2023 player stats and team stats, not pitcher stats, because pitcher stats are still related to last year, but everything else, the starting pitcher stats. And anyway, the team pitching stats for the team is actually related to 2023, which is helpful. But the actual pitcher, we're still looking at 2022. This is the first day that we hit what I wanted to hit, which is a profitable day over 10% margin. Okay. I updated lineups, and this is the order that I got after messing around with combination strings a little bit. Tampa Bay was the number one pick of the day. In the video, they won. They covered. Houston lost, Texas lost, and the White Sox lost. But the rest of them, Cleveland comes back to win, Yankees win, Angels win at the underdog, Minnesota wins, Dodgers win. That results in a profitable day down here. You're only not profitable in a couple spots, because you lose some games up here. And the White Sox lose. I wish the White Sox weren't on there, because I didn't take them. I was like, I don't want to take this team. I don't think they're that good. Houston, turns out, is really having trouble this year, as you can see now, losing to Detroit after losing some games to the White Sox. Now, this was okay, and this was profitable. So we have our first day where this actually worked completely with 2023. That's good. We're going for this every day. I want every day over 10% margin games to be above 10% ROI. And we want to see if we can keep doing that more than 3 days in a row. Like, that's what you want to hit, like 3 out of 4 days. You want this to be profitable, picking those games above 10% margin. So we finally have a day where that happened. Now, other stuff down here was messy, and everything's going to be messy because we don't have a lot of stats from 2023 yet. These underdogs don't hit, except for Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. So you would go 3-3 on your underdogs with this setup. 2022 was worse. It was much worse. Notice it does things like, it was much worse. And above 10%, you're only right here, and you're not profitable. So I don't need any more convincing to go with 2023, because that's what I want to do. So we talk about something else. Let's go through each individual combination string. Its name will pop up right here. Pitcher win percentage had a bad day. It doesn't really work that well. It's not a good stat for determining games. Number 2, pitcher whip was good. Pitcher whip was 10-5. Okay. All right, not bad. ERA was 8-7. Not awful, but not great. Lineup factor was not good. So lineup factor was heavy. It was obviously all on 2023. So we'll just call that. We just barely don't have enough stats yet. So it didn't have a better day. But notice our other combination strings, did have a good day, basically. So it's nice to see that you're able to overcome a lineup factor that didn't really work very well for the games, because the average of all the combinations and all the different variables we use when we look at all these different variables and we test out different ones, that was better. That's really good to see. It means we have a nice distribution. Number 5, 11-4 on bullpen ERA factor. That is related to current season pitching stats. How about that? You'll see that bullpen ERA factor, and then another one, which was average runs allowed. This one also had great days at 11-4 and 11-4. So team pitching and team defense was a very good variable and a good driver today for wins and losses. That's what that says. BABIP was not good. That's that batting average number. Average runs 4 game, not as good as the defensive other one. And then we start getting into our other combinations, which all kind of went 8-7, 7-8. All right. See kind of the order of things as we glance. Nothing that looks really incredibly and awesome. Although you start to see this starts to look better. I mean, look at these ROI numbers, still around 15%, but it looks like the average of all the combinations did the best. Other than if we just used these, bullpen ERA and bull. I mean, this is the way to have done it, really. You can see this one's 34% of all games if you just look at average runs allowed and bullpen ERA factor. Now it's one day, so you don't want to think that that's going to work all the time, but it certainly did so far. And it's showing you who has, I guess, a deeper bullpen is what you're seeing. So that's really cool. Which means like, well, what would you do if you look at what did that look like in the matchup sheet? Let's do number 5, which was related to number 5 was bullpen ERA factor, right? I don't like what it necessarily does to scores because it's the only factor, so it's not really the best thing to use. We'll look at 25 just to see kind of how scores came in. Our scores are obviously, they've been low. We can see that the scores are a lot higher now. This is making me think that the time clock and everything is making scores of games go higher. In every instance, the scores are really, look at that one. Really? Wow. Pittsburgh to win 6-5 or 6-6, they win 7-6. That's pretty amazing. But you can see there's a lot of scoring going on. So this is going to start to fix itself as the season goes by if this becomes the norm and every baseball game has eight runs or something per team, which a lot of that is happening. Maybe time clock related, maybe they'll adjust to the time clock and get runs down, or there's just going to be a lot of hitting. We're going to find out. So really cool stuff. I like what I've done with this tonight, and I like the 2023 yielded profitability, and your teams up top did okay. It was a low scoring game where Texas just doesn't hit Baltimore in this White Sox game. So anyway, we'll see. Go purchase a copy. You can get a copy of this, start messing with it yourself. I'm only doing it for 6 more days because it is a lot of work every day, and I'm not going to do baseball every day. I'm going to get involved with AI and start doing a different thing every week. Really, here, it's much more fun that way, and then go back and revisit things when they need to be revisited. But I'd rather just get this out for everyone, teach you how to do it. This is the new economy. You learn to do everything yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, you start asking AI to help you, and AI is going to help you most of the time. And so we'll get AI to start connecting this to RotoWire and maybe scraping lineups automatically. I saw something about doing that might work out. I don't know how to get the automatic exports to come out of here, but I'm sure it's possible. Sure, it's possible to do it. But as for right now, we're still pasting them in manually. Okay. All right, guys. That's the update. So the 3rd of April, which was day 4-ish. Right? How many games these guys play? These guys have played anywhere between like somebody played 4 games already, apparently. Yeah, the teams that played Friday. Some of these teams have actually played 4 games, and most of them played 3. So this was the 5th day. Yeah, it was the 5th day of doing this, and we finally got profitable and started doing something that I wanted it to do. We picked off the underdog in the Angels. We put Tampa Bay on top, and they covered. Yeah, yeah, like it basically it did some good things today. All right, so good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.